Greetings, everyone. Hey, you have your ticket? You don't have one? You know the drill. Hit the subscription button below. Come on in, all right? And for you, those who are already subscribed to the channel, appreciate you guys very, 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 very much. Especially when you have to put up with me. Right? And I know I can be difficult. But if you subscribe, then you already know that. And that means you say, you know what? At least you're speaking your truth. Even if we don't agree with you, you're speaking it. And if you're saying what we're thinking, more power to you. That's the way I take it, in terms of your support of this particular channel, okay? So, hats off to you. I can't say hats off. I can, but I'm not. Okay, but thank you. That said, let me get into the purpose of this video. I want to talk a little bit about a show that came on just recently, where it was a news program from MSNBC, Joy Reid's program. And Joy Reid had a couple of hosts on her program. One was the Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, and the other was a guy by the name of Mark Thompson. He's got some XM radio station, and he's supposed to be the reparations, guy, and someone who's been a proponent of reparations for 30 years. Well, their discussion, caused some concern, at least for me. And I want to share with you the reason why it caused some concern. First, let's talk about Mr. Mark, Thompson. He attacked black social media in regards to saying that a lot of the platforms who are talking about reparations in regards to why that we should not vote the Democratic ticket in 2020 unless reparations have been agreed upon by whatever candidate that we're supporting. He says that we are more or less a bunch of idiots and that we don't know what we're talking about, and that, why wouldn't we treat a Republican candidate, like we're treating the Democratic candidates? And that, and since, and more or less that we have a double standard, that we wouldn't react this way if there was an incumbent Democratic president and there was someone who was running as a Republican. Somehow in his little small peanut mind, that we would not have the same standard. Because you know why? Because he has drunken the Democratic Kool-Aid. This guy, is one of so many others who have been voting the Democratic ticket and encouraging us to do so for decades and decades and decades. But have anyone at any point in time had a real discussion around why are blacks supporting the Democratic ticket? And I think that's a very good question. What's the history behind us supporting a Democratic ticket? I'm going to give you a quick little test. Let me see how many of you guys are going to pass this test. Abraham Lincoln, who passed the Emancipation Proclamation, was a Democrat. Thumbs up or thumbs down? He was a Democrat. If you said he was a Democrat, thumbs down. He was a Republican. Let's talk about President Warren Harding. This is the guy who embraced the Ku Klux Klan, the original Birth of a Nation, not Nat Turner's movie, but I think W. Griffith's movie, Birth of a Nation, that pretty much made black men out to be these desperate beasts whose only goal in life was to be shiftless, raping white women, and eating watermelon. If you don't believe me, go watch the movie. And how it took the Klan coming to rally for the white woman, and her white, for the savior of the white woman and her virtues. And saved America from these beasts. Warren Harding, he supported that movie to the point that he had a premiere of the movie shown at the White House. Democrat or Republican? If you said Republican, Democrat. Okay, let's move a little farther up. FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Right? We have nothing to fear but fear itself. Remember him? This guy, when Jesse Owens the multiple gold medal winner Jesse Owens, one of our heroes, in the 1936 Olympics, did a tremendous job. I think it would be safe to say that he established America in terms of athleticism and courageousness and perfection. I think the guy won 4 or 5 gold medals. Adolf Hitler, according to Jesse Owens, not the lying history that you've been hearing, the propaganda about Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler, according to Jesse Owens in his 1970 biography, read it, autobiography, said that Hitler was the ultimate gentleman, that Hitler acknowledged his greatness. Hitler tipped his hat to his greatness. But when he got back home, Franklin Roosevelt not only did not invite him to the White House, Franklin Roosevelt didn't even acknowledge his accomplishments. Hitler, supposedly the racist of all races against black people, tipped his hat to the man. Man called him a gentleman. Jesse Owens called Hitler a gentleman. Franklin Roosevelt didn't even have enough decency to invite the man to the White House or to pick up a phone call and just say, congratulations, great job, young man. Said nothing to the man. Franklin Roosevelt, Democrat, Republican. If you say Republican, thumbs down. Okay, let's go a little bit farther. Harry Truman, who was the president when Roosevelt died. The president who supposedly integrated the military. Okay? That Harry Truman. Did you know that he was a card-carrying member of the Ku Klux Klan? Okay? Harry Truman was. Democrat or Republican? Up or down? You say Republican? Down. Democrat. Okay, let's come into the 1950s. Okay? John F. Kennedy, the congressman from Massachusetts. Yeah, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. In 1957, do you know he voted against the Civil Rights Act as a congressman? Did you know that he voted against it? The Civil Rights Act for people of color. Republican or Democrat? You say Republican, thumbs down, Democrat. Lyndon Baines Johnson, the guy that finally got the legislation on the table for the Voting Rights Act, also legislation on the table for the Civil Rights Act. But also called Martin Luther King a nigger, a coon, and every other kind. He constantly degraded people of color. Constantly did it. All right? Lyndon Baines Johnson, the man who escalated the Vietnam War, which disproportionately African Americans, men, were killed in it, slaughtered in it. Democrat or Republican? You say Republican? Thumbs down. He was a Democrat. Let's come all the way up to the 2000s. Barack Hussein Obama. Barack Hussein Obama. A guy who supported gay rights. A guy who supported DACA, immigration rights. Okay? A guy that when the blacks came to him and said, what about rights and things to help us with crime, jobs, historically black colleges, things, reparations, things that can help lift us up. The same guy who supported all of those other groups, gays, immigrants, his white constituents, told us he's not the president of black people. He's the president of America. So more or less, get the hell out of here. And then at the end of his 2 terms, he had the audacity to tell all of us that if we did not vote for Hillary Clinton, he would take it as a personal insult. Democrat, Republican. You say Republican? You got it wrong again. Democrat. So just that little history, I took you from 1860s to the 2015 Democrat presidents. And I could talk to you about senators and many, many other Dixiecrats. They were Democrats from the South who were staunch segregationists. Staunch segregationists. Staunch bigots and racists. Democrats, Democrats, Democrats. Yet this idiot, Michael Thompson, has the audacity to tell us that somehow or another that we're narrow-minded because we want to be open-minded about the decisions that we make. In other words, we're simply saying that if you want our vote, then you have to barter for that vote. Just like the gays bartered for their votes, the immigrants bartered for their votes, Hispanics, Mexicans bartered for their votes, and all the other things, people who accomplish things have throughout history bartered for their votes, that if we somehow did it, African Americans, so-called. If we somehow raise our standard just to that standard, just to the standard of every other ethnic group in America, that somehow we were narrow-minded fools. Wow. Wow. What a disgraceful idiot. And he has to, and you know, it's interesting. MSNBC invites him to their platform. It's no wonder why, because he's a talking head and he's getting paid to push this agenda to discourage you from taking a stand for reparations. That's what he's there for. And then you got Sheila Jackson Lee over on the other side, okay? You got her over there. And she's over there pushing H.R. 40. You know what I'm saying? The H.R. 40, the bill for the bill is to look at the potential for reparations, It's a bill to pretty much say we want to have a conversation about reparations so that we can have a conversation about reparations. Now, doesn't that sound kind of, first of all, it sounds ridiculous, but doesn't that sound kind of buffoonish and, you know, self-depreciating? Why would we be interested in someone having a bill to discuss, a bill about something that's important to us, to have a discussion about something that's important to us? And yet you got these guys like Michael Thompson, Joy Reid, and a whole bunch, Tatiana Coates, and a whole bunch of others supporting this foolishness. And then you got this Michael Thompson character coming back and pretty much telling us we've been fighting for reparation for 30 years, his organization, his group, and the group similar to his organization. For 30 years. Let me tell you something, Mr. Thompson. There's a saying, there's a quote that says, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. So what that means to me and to us, you sound insane. Your very admission that you guys have been doing this for 30 years, and what do you have to show for it? Absolutely nothing. Goose eggs. You sound like a foolish man. It's like Job told his wife when his wife told him, biblically speaking, Job, his wife told him to curse Yahweh and die because of all the blessings and the things that he had lost, that somehow or another his life was no longer worth living. And Job told us, woman, shut your mouth. So you sound like a fool. Michael Thompson, you sound like a fool. Sheila Jackson Lee, you sound like a fool. And anyone else that's trying to tell us that we do not have a right to have an agenda in terms of a platform of what we say we need if we're going to get behind you and support you in the 2020 election. When we take a stand as a collective group of people, and guys, this time around, we should. We all benefit in that. We all benefit in that. And I'm talking again, American descendants of slaves. We all benefit in that, and we owed it. It was promised 100 plus years ago, 40 acres and a mule. And they've done everything from redlining, redistricting, Jim Crow, vagrant laws, everything in the book, mass incarceration. You name it, they have done it to us to hurt us economically, to marginalize our ability, to minimize our ability to have financial success in this country. So it just didn't stop at slavery. And although we're owed for the labor of our ancestors, but it went on. Even to now, black people of color are still being discriminated for best jobs or good jobs or fair and equal treatment in the workplace. As they're saying, you know, the last hired, first fired. So this situation today in terms of reparations and what we want in order to get our vote, guys, this is the one time that we all need to unite. We all, and if you're someone who feel like you can't get back, then we need your support by keeping quiet. And when the money comes, we'll give you your portion of money. I know you don't want it because you say you don't need reparations. So when we get the money, we're gonna do you a good service, and we're gonna give the money to you anyway. All right, we'll put it in a trust fund for you and for your children. They may need it. So Sheila Jackson Lee, take your HR 40 and go to hell with it. Michael Thompson and your organization, we don't need you. We're going to give a damn about what you have to say. Joy Reid, MSNBC, and anyone else who wants to tell us that we shouldn't act for something for our vote, get the hell out of here. No reparations, no vote. Bye now. Thank you guys for listening.